Right, welcome back. So today I am going to start discussing by with the first thing that I am going to discuss is why any minimum of a convex programming problem is a global minimum. So recall what is our convex programming problem? It is minimize of fx subject to x coming from set S where f of x f typically is a function from S to R is convex function on a convex set S. So that means first thing understand very clearly that if the set S is not convex, there is no definition of a convex function. Implicit in it is that when we say a complex, say, when we say that there is a complex function, implicit in it is that the domain is a convex set. If the domain is not a convex set, there is no question or discussion about any convex function. Also, this set is usually a subset of Rn. That means the Rn is what your n-dimensional space of x1, x2 to xn, n coordinates or n variables x1, x2 to nn, mn. Okay, so what I said earlier last time, though we have not yet proved it or dived deeply into this problem, that if a convex programming problem has a minimum, if a convex programming problem has a minimum, then it is always a global minimum. Okay. So usually whenever I say convex programming convex function, I usually think of first example geometrically that I think of is x square. So x square is a function which looks like this, and immediately you see that there is only one minimum and it is a global minimum at x equal to x is equal to 0. So this is very clear in this particular case. If you no, if you displace this, let's say you create another function instead, alternatively, if you say f of x is equal to x minus a whole square, even that is a that is also the same story holds here also. So suppose you displace this function here, then just this displacement of the function does not change anything about the shape of the function. And since it doesn't do anything about the shape of the function, so if the original function had a shape of convexity, which means to say that if I take any 2 points and connect a line segment between them, then then if say I take a point here which is on this line segment, then um, the actual function value is less than or equal to the interpolated value. That was the definition of my convex function. What was that? 1 f lambda a plus 1 minus lambda b, where a and b are 2 points coming from the set S, and lambda is between interval closed interval 0 and 1, which also automatically means that 1 minus lambda is also between the closed interval 0 and 1, and they sum, the together they sum to unity. Then what has to happen? This The convexity concept demands that this objective function value should be less than or equal to 1 minus lambda times of fb. This right hand side is the interpolated value. I'm sorry, right hand side is the interpolated value. This is z, this is the interpolated value is here. The actual function, which is, let me use a different color, green, let's say. The actual function is the green value, the LHS. And the interpolated value, let me use the red color, is this particular value. So the green value is less than or green value is less than or equal to the interpolated value, and this real line or Rn in general, real line is what? R1, is it not? Real line is R1 is always a convex set. Why? Because take any 2 points on it, connect it with a line segment. All the points inside of that are also on the are also denote real numbers only. They definitely belong to real line. So therefore, they belong to that subset. They are not. They are always. If you take any 2 points on the real line and make a line segment, any point inside of it is also belonging to is being a real number also belongs to R, and hence there is no problem. Similarly, if I take Rn and in this Rn, let me sketch it by some two-dimensional space like this, x1, x2. If I take any 2 points here, and it could be in other quadrants also, no problem, and I draw a line segment here, and then if I take any point on this line segment, then this is also a two-dimensional point, is also described by two-dimensional r square point only, is also a point in the plane itself, is also a point in the plane itself, hence belongs to r square. So therefore belongs to the original set, which is r square. So therefore Rn in general is also is a trivially a is trivially a convex set. Okay. Now, uh, what we are trying to say in this particular thing here is that if it if a convex programming problem has a minimum, then that minimum is always a global minimum. ठीक है. Now, what does that again mean? Two things. First question may come to your mind is, what about maximum? So I will give you a simple example. That suppose I say maximize of a convex function which is x square, where x is a real number, which is exactly the maximization of this particular thing itself. We are trying to maximize it. So where will you go? X goes to infinity, and f of x will go to infinity. So here what will happen is, you can take modulus of x to infinity, that means on the positive side or on the negative side, any side, it doesn't matter. If you take it to infinity, f of x will go to infinity. Both f of minus infinity will also be infinity in some sense, and f of plus infinity will also be also approach infinity in some sense. So therefore this is what I usually call it as the function is unbounded above, supremum is infinity, there is no maximum. So usually if your convex programming problems, the shape of the function is such that this inequality tells us that it is interesting to find look for a minimum, but if you look for a maximum, then it may not even exist. In this case, incidentally, you would say also see that Weierstrass theorem is also not valid in this particular case. In this particular case, it is quite clear that Weierstrass theorem is also not valid. Why? Because in Weierstrass theorem, what was our requirement? The set S on which you are optimizing should be compact, which is closed and bounded. So in this case, we are not having a bounded set. But suppose if the function is also convex, set is also convex, but now let's say I say that x should be between say 1 and 3, then it is very clear that the maximum will be at f of 3, which will be equal to 9. That is very clear from the shape of the person. So in that case, what you see is the maximum is an sort of is at an extremity or is an extreme point. So if it exists, then usually convex programming with convex functions and convex sets, if you maximize, and if it exists, usually it is seen that it is at a extreme point. But that's not really important. With convex functions, mostly we are only discussing minimization of the convex functions. Now, now what I was telling you was that if it exists, if it exists, then then if it exists, then it is a global minimum. So first of all, again, let me look at that if it exists clause a bit more carefully. This one, a simple function like f of x is equal to a straight line mx plus c, and I want to minimize f of x. I want to, sorry, I want to minimize f of x over the real line again. So x tending to minus infinity, suppose m is greater than 0, then x tending to minus infinity, where will this function go? Fx will go to minus infinity. Suppose m was negative, then x tending to plus infinity, fx will go to minus infinity. So in this case, what happens is, this is a, incidentally, if you recall, this is a convex function, is it not? This actually function is both convex as well as concave. You know, both these are there. Let's look. Let's check. F of lambda x1, 2 points x1 and x2, and then convex combination of it represented by the line segment lambda x1 plus 1 minus lambda x2, lambda coming from 0 to 1 closed interval, is going to be equal to m of lambda x1 plus 1 minus lambda x2 plus of, deliberately, because there is lambda and 1 minus lambda, I will use the trick of splitting this c as 1 times of c, and 1 I am writing it as summation of lambda plus 1 minus lambda. So this will become m, grouping now the lambda terms and the 1 minus lambda terms together, mx1 plus c plus 1 minus lambda mx2 plus c, which is lambda times of f of x of 1 plus 1 minus lambda times of f of x of 2. So therefore, this definition of a convex function, this definition of a convex function is valid for a for such a line, it is valid being always at equality. If it is always at equality, it is indeed a convex function. If it is strictly less than everywhere, then we say it is a strictly convex function. If it is just at equality, if both is possible, then we say that it is just a convex function. So remember what had I said earlier, one also I had talked about concave functions, and I had said that f is a concave function if minus f is convex. So incidentally, since it doesn't matter here what my m is and what my m is and what my c is, independent of these m and c values, the straight line always represents a convex function. So therefore, now if you come to the definition of concave function, it essentially means that if you look at, if you evaluate this at the convex combination of x1 and x2, then this should be greater than or equal to, then it should be greater than or equal to lambda f of x1 plus 1 minus lambda f of x2. So again, since this is true at equality, this one that we showed here for the line segment, since this is true at being at equality, it's also true for greater than or equal to also. So therefore, what it means is that such a straight line is both convex and concave. Is it not? It is both convex and concave. On the other hand, if you look at this function which I had here, f equal to x square or f of x minus or f of x equal to x minus a whole square. These are strictly convex functions. This cup kind of thing that you see here is it touches the x line only at one point and it is a strictly convex function. How to check this is usually done uh, through the positive definiteness of the Hessian matrix. That point will be coming very soon to that particular point. Now, I think we have enough idea, or we have recapped enough of our convex functions, convective functions, definitions, and their important properties. So now let us, as well as of what is a minimum and what is a maximum and all that. So now let us address the first main problem that I mentioned here, which is that if it has a minimum, if a convex programming problem has a minimum, then it is always a global minimum. So let us handle this point straight away. So to the contrary, proof. To the contrary, assume two minimums. Assume two minimums. Say x bar and x tilde, such that one is a local minimum and different from the another. So therefore, let us say that fx bar is strictly less than f of x of tilde. Okay. So now if I assume this, what I am going to do, I am going to look at the convex combination of f or convex combination of this x lambda and x tilde. That means any point on this particular line segment anywhere here in between, I am going to consider this. This is what here, lambda being from 0 to 1. So what can I write about it? This is simply less than or equal to lambda times of f of x of bar plus 1 minus lambda times of f of x of tilde. But this is by definition of the fact that f is a convex function. But what can I say about f of x of bar? It is strictly less than f of x of tilde. So therefore, what happens is, after this, when I substitute here at instead of fx bar, when I substitute f of x of tilde, then the right hand side will go up because f of x of tilde is strictly larger than f of x of bar, and this lambda is a positive quantity. So therefore, lambda times of x of tilde will be strictly greater than lambda times of f of x of bar. Hence, the next inequality which I am writing here is with a strict less than or equal to sign, and now it becomes x of tilde plus 1 minus f of x of tilde. But now you can take the, now I will write, I am just simplifying, so therefore I am writing equal to lambda plus 1 minus lambda times of f of x of tilde, which is equal to f of x of tilde. So what does that mean? The interpolated value on the convex combination, sorry, the function value at any convex combination of these 2 points is strictly less than f of x of tilde, is strictly less than f of x of tilde. But what did I say? I said this is a, to begin with, I said let us assume two minimums, two local minimums of different values. So I said two minimums. So therefore this is actually this is a local minimum, and when you start from here towards this, when you start from here x tilde towards x bar, what is going to happen? Your function is going to decrease. However infinitesimally small step you take, that will cause, means anywhere close to this value, anywhere close to this, suppose I take here, or I come here, or I come here, or I come here, so long as I am on the line segment, I am guaranteeing that this value is strictly less than, function takes the value here is strictly less than what the function takes at the f of tilde. So none of, so I cannot create any neighborhood here, I cannot create any neighborhood here in which the function cannot be decreased below f of tilde. I cannot create any neighborhood, however small, in which the function cannot be decreased, in which the function cannot be decreased below f of tilde. If that is the case, can f tilde be a local minimum? No. So if anywhere in the vicinity the function is reducing, however small the vicinity I take, then it means x of tilde is not a local minimum. But that is a contradiction. Contradiction to what? To the assumption that this is a local minimum, two local minimums of different value. So therefore what happens? One being strictly less than other is not permissible. They can be same value. You can have f of x bar to be equal to f of x of tilde, that is acceptable, but one being strictly lower than other has to be ruled out, because otherwise it doesn't anymore classify as, it doesn't anymore classify as being a local, it doesn't classify anymore as being a local minimum. So what happens? What do we say here? Hence, if there is a minimum, then it is a global minimum. All right. So I think this is a very important landmark result in convex programming. This particular video I am going to stop here and then restart with some examples in the next video.